The last step now is to finally implement the solution for the second problem directly in our middleware using, of course, the methods that we implemented in the previous class. So now we are going to act directly over the response of the request, and that can be done fortunately in the same middleware. So again, let's go to the middleware. And as we are going to act over the response, we need to obtain the response before to return it and modify it accordingly. Now, we have a lot of responses possible. We have success response and error response. And we are going to act only over error responses, but there are, again, different kind of error responses. And at this point, we are going to act only over the validation error responses. So we just need to be sure first that this response is an error response, and that can be done if we know if there is an exception in the response. If the exception attribute is set, so we know that it is an error. And we need to know if this error is a validation exception. Remember to import the definition directly from Illuminate. And now we are sure that this is a validation exception, so we can proceed. The first thing that we need to do is to obtain directly the data of the response. There are a lot of things that we can obtain from the response, but we only need the data. Once we have the data, we can obtain several things over there. First, as you can see here in an error response, the data has, in this case of validation error, an error and the code. But what we need directly is the content of error, that is an array with every attribute that we need to modify. So we just need to go directly to the error element and transform this. So we need again an empty array with the transform errors. And we're going to loop over every error. We're going to call this field, and the value is going to be the error message. So there, let's obtain the transform name of the field. Using the transformer. Using, of course, the transform attribute method that we implemented in the previous class. So again, if the user has an error for the name, we are going to transform this to title in the case of the category, for example. So we know that it is title using the transformer. So once we have this, we just need to build the new transform errors. So the transform errors in the position of the transform field, it means the name of the new field transformed, of course, is going to be equals to the error message. But remember that the error message has the name of the field again. So we need to replace every occurrence of this value there. For this, we are going to use string replace. We need to send the original value, what we want to replace to, and of course where we are going to replace that. After that, we should have now completely transformed the errors, so we need to establish the new value of the error attribute with this new one array. So data in the error attribute is going to be equals to the new transformed errors. And then we need to specify that data, that new data, to the response. Once we have this, we just need to proceed returning the response. Be sure that you are returning the response at the end of the method, independently if we have any kind of modification or not. Now let's just see if everything is working. So we should have here it seems like we have a little error, and yes, in the line 35 I made a typo. This is filled here. Let's check again. And here we have title. The title field is required and the details field is required. So now if we send title and details, we are working as expected. We have created a new instance of category even without change the original attributes. As we know, we are just using the transformation to be completely transparent with the final user or our client. So we are done now. We have completely fully implemented the transformation stuff and validations, of course, in our RESTful API. See you in the next class.